Hello everyone. Today I'm going to attempt to do a guide on how to identify your Bratz. Now, I don't profess to be any kind of Bratz aficionado because I'm not. What I am is a Bratz enthusiast who has recently started collecting Bratz, and in my quest to find these dolls and discover which doll I've got, I've spent hours and hours looking up the dolls' names and which collection they're from and everything, and I found that it hasn't been no easy task. There doesn't seem to be a definitive guide on the internet or in book form that you can buy to help you to discover which Bratz you've got. However, I have found a couple of websites very useful, and my main source of help has been my people who have watched my videos and commented on my haul videos to tell me which Bratz I have. So thank you very much to those people in particular, because they really have been a fantastic help. So besides their help, I've also had help from a website that I found called Passion Bratz. I'll put the link to that in my information box if I can. And also from 1,000 Splendid Dolls, who has a FLIKR account that is dedicated to identifying dolls, and she does have Bratz on there. Yeah, so if you wanted to go on, you can go on to FLIKR without actually having to join and look up 1,000 Splendid Dolls. She has albums with all the dolls in that she has, and she has close-ups of their faces and the clothes that they should be wearing too. Yeah, so that's been a really good help. So with a combination of the website, the FLIKR account and Google, I have managed to name most of my dolls. You still will find that there are dolls that you can't name because, for example, the Bee Bratz and the Make Your Own Bratz are specific ones that don't have a name apart from the one that the people who made them gave them. So right, let's get started. So I thought we'd start with the four main characters, which are Chloe. Chloe is the blonde-haired, blue-eyed brat. She doesn't always have blonde hair and blue-eyed, but she mostly does. Then we have Jade. Jade usually has dark eyes and dark hair. Not always, but usually. Then we have the lovely Sasha, who has dark skin, and she usually has brown or black hair. Not always, but usually. And then we have Yasmin. You can always tell Yasmin because she has a beauty mark just under her left eye. You see? Yeah, so you can always tell her Yasmin because of that. And then one of the fifth characters I'm going to mention, who is not one of the main four, but is still quite one of the main characters, is Megan. And Megan usually has red hair. Not always, but usually. Yeah. So yeah, you need to learn those four basic ones at least. So Chloe's the blonde-haired one. Jade's the black-haired one. Sasha's got the lovely dark skin, and then Yasmin with the beauty mark under her left eye. Yeah, they're the four main characters. The next thing I look for is eye makeup. In the early dolls, say 2001 to 2004, they have this distinctive eye makeup. Can you see on this Sasha? Between the two colours at the bottom, there is like a zigzag. That's on almost all of the dolls in 2001, 2002. And it can be found in dolls up to 2004, but you can tell an early doll because it has this distinctive eye makeup. Yeah. Another thing I look for is hairstyle. So if I was looking for a Chloe, I'd go onto Google, type in Bratz Chloe doll. If I didn't know what year she was from, I'd look through the Chloe dolls until I found one that had a similar hairstyle to the one I was looking for. Yeah, so this one, she doesn't have a parting, but she has a ponytail with a braid wrapped around it, and she has a loose bit hanging down the front. These are things to look for when you're looking up your Bratz on Google. Yeah, one of the main things is how their hair is parted. This Megan has a side part on her hair, I think. Anyway, yeah, she has a side parting. So that's one of the things. This Sasha has 2 tones to her hair, and she has a middle parting. Yeah, things like that. This doll also has, she has a fringe. Some have a fringe, some don't. And she has 2 tones in her hair. I'll tell you a bit about that later. Then I look at their pants. Actually, the first thing I look at is their pants. For example, the earlier dolls don't have any pants at all. They just have a bare bottom. The ones with the bare bottom are the earlier dolls. So from 2001 up to maybe 2004-05, they have no pants at all. So you can tell they're an earlier doll. Then you get dolls that have pants, but just painted on pants. The ones with the just painted on pants are from around 2004-05 up to 2007, roughly, not exactly. And then the next ones, and the best ones to find, are the ones that have the painted on pants with this number on the back. Because I found that these 2 numbers before the ELE seem to indicate when the dolls were released. So I can tell from this doll, she's got black hair, so I would think she was a Sasha. So I would go onto Google and I would type in Sasha 2009, because that's what it says on her pants before the ELE number. Now, I don't know whether that's definitely true, but I know it's what I think, and in my experience I have found. And also 1000 Splendid Dolls does say the same thing, that she believes that that is the year that they were released. Yeah, so that's the pants. And then another thing to look for is whether your doll has a beauty mark or not. So there are different beauty marks on different characters. For example, this twins Phoebe. Phoebe always has a beauty mark just there above the right side of her lip. Not all of the dolls all have their beauty marks now. I think that's a beauty mark. It could just be a bit of muck. Let's have a look. This is twins Kiara. She looks to have a beauty mark above her lip. Actually, I think, yeah. So another thing to look for is beauty marks. So if you're stuck on a doll with a beauty mark, I would go to Google and I would type in Bratz doll beauty mark and have a look through the images then and find one that matches your beauty mark. So for example, with this doll, she's got this beauty mark here. I'd find a doll that had the same beauty mark, find out that she was a Phoebe. So then I would type in Bratz Phoebe and I would try and find a doll that had the same facial screening as my one. Also the same hairstyle, the same hair, the same eye shape, the same hair colour. Yeah, so that's the beauty mark. Some of the lines have very distinctive eyes. For example, I've lost the doll I was going to use as an example. Sorry. Here we are. Tokyo Go-Go dolls all have this distinctive pattern in their eyes. You see that, and their eyelashes go off in 2 directions. They have some going to the left and some going to the right. And they have 3 highlights in their eyes. One white one, and this one has a pink one and a grey one. Yeah, so all of the Tokyo Go-Go dolls have that distinctive eye. Then the 2010, you don't find a doll before 2010 that has this facial screening. So this facial screening, you know, is from 2010 onwards, but you also find with the 2010 onward dolls that they have the ELE number with the two numbers before the ELE indicating the year that they were released. So this one, because she's got the beauty mark under her eye, I would look up Yasmin 2011. Yeah. Ice Champions dolls. Now I had an Ice Champions Yasmin somewhere. Let me find her and I'll explain how I know she's... Here we are. Here's my Ice Champions Yasmin. I know she's a Yasmin because she has the beauty mark below her eye. And the reason I know she's an Ice Champions doll is because of this. And I learnt that from someone who commented on one of my videos. So thank you for that, Jamie Davis. Yeah. So yeah, she has, when you move her legs, they click. And apparently all of the Ice Champions dolls do this. Her arms move as well when your legs move sometimes. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah, so you know an Ice Champions doll because it has those clicky hips. Also, I found with the talking dolls that I have, they have fixed hips. And they're not necessarily in line, like one hip will be higher than the other and it's fixed. There's no articulation in the legs. Yeah. And then we have some special lines that you can tell, more or less tell straight away by looking at them. So the winter dolls or winter time dolls usually have glittery makeup or glittery eye makeup. So here we have Wintertime Wonderland Yasmin, and as you can see, she's got glittery eye makeup on all around her eyes, and she's got glittery lips too. Yeah, so she's very sparkly, like ice, I suppose. Yeah. You can always tell a Rock Angels doll because they have the diamond in their belly button. Yeah, so if you get a doll that's dressed, check their belly button first because they're always the Rock Angels if they have the diamond. Yeah. The Forever Diamonds dolls. Yeah, this is Forever Diamond Sheridan. You can always tell the Forever Diamonds ones because they have a little holographic beauty mark, I suppose you call it, just by their eye. Can you see that? They have one by each eye. And I think she's lost the one on her other eye, but yeah, usually they have one by each eye, little holographic mark there. Genie Magic, you can always tell because they have their Tika. Thank you again to my commenter who pointed that out to me, that this is called a Tika. They have a Tika and they have the henna tattooed down their arm. So the Genie Magic dolls all have that. And then a Desert Jewels doll will have a Tika, but no henna on her arm. Yeah. And Flower Girls. You can tell a Flower Girl because they have a flower in their hair. If you're lucky enough to get one that's still got the flower in, you know immediately that they're a Flower Girl because they have that in their hair. I've already talked about the 2010 Bratz having a specific facial screening. You don't see that facial screening before 2010, only from 2010 onwards. Then there are the Bratz boys. I found that Bratz boys are easier to find because there are not so many of them. So I've got four boys here. And the things you look for with the boys are similar to what you'd look for with the girls. Look at their eyes. Look at their eyebrows too. The eyebrows are quite a good indicator on the boys. Look at the highlights in their eyes. Look at their hairstyle. So how I'd identify a boy doll is to go onto Google, type in Bratz boys, and then go through the images until I found one that was similar to mine. So I'd find one that had a similar hairstyle to this and a similar face, and I'd think, yeah, that's a Cade. So then I'd type in Bratz Cade and look through the images until I found one that matched mine, and I would find that this is Motorcycle Style Cade. Once I've discovered which doll I have, I write it on a little ticket and put it around its neck so I don't forget, because I would forget. Yeah, so I know he's Cade. This doll, you can tell, is a later doll because his eyebrows are different. He's got little hairs underneath his main eyebrow and a little hair there. And he has two highlights in his eye instead of one. And he is Snowboarding Cade. So those two are actually the same doll. They're both Cades, but look at the difference in them. Yeah, I know that he's Snowboarding Cade because of his eyebrows. That there shouldn't be there. Shouldn't have that chunk out of his eyebrow, but yeah. This one is Dylan, who to me looks very similar to this one. to me they look the same, just a different colour. But yeah, he's Dylan, and again I told by his hairstyle, he has flocking on his head, and he has one highlight in his eye and just plain straight eyebrows. And this one I'm very lucky to have is the Tokyo Go-Go Eton, who to me looks like Dylan again. But yeah, he again, being a Tokyo Go-Go boy, he has the distinctive eye shape, distinctive eye highlights, and he has, they don't have string in their hair, the boys don't, but they do have a different colour. So he's got two black and blue hair, he's got, yeah. And then we get to the later Bratz, the newer ones. For example, I have, hold on a minute, I haven't done the Fashion Pixies. Yeah, the Fashion Pixies, you can tell because they usually have wings, if you're lucky enough to get one with wings. And they have a distinctive face. Their faces are smaller than an average Bratz. Let's find an average Bratz. Yeah, and they look more squashed in. They're not as round, and they're more squashed in. And they have like a little glittery tattoo on their face. So they're the Fashion Pixies. That's how you can tell if you've got one of those. This one is a Chloe, and she has 2 beauty marks. I wouldn't have known she was a Chloe, but because she has this really fancy hair, I looked up the holiday dolls and the costume dolls, and it turns out that she is a costume Chloe, and she's the costume princess Chloe. Yeah, and as I said, the later dolls, the newer dolls, first of all, they've all got the ELE number on their backs, higher up their backs. So if you type in Bratz and then the number for this one, it was 2015, I believe. Yeah, this one, we know, actually, hold on a minute. This is Instapet's Yasmin. The newer dolls have a slightly bigger head and have a more distinctive facial screening than the earlier dolls. Let's find an earlier doll. Can you see their heads are rounder and wider, and their eyes are quite distinctively different, and the newer dolls all have that similar look, and there aren't so many newer dolls to look through. So I would type in Bratz the year before the ELE number, and then I would go through the images to look for one similar to this. That's if I couldn't find her on 1000 Splendid Dolls. Yeah, so I hope that's helped someone, or anyone who's having difficulty finding out which Bratz they've got. As I said, my main source of information and the main way I find out which Bratz I've got is from people who comment on my videos, so thank you again to those. But yeah, that's just a few tips on how I discover what dolls I've got. So thank you for watching. I hope that's helped someone, and bye for now.